princess with a chronic mouth odor, but destined to rule the village. In the heart of the African savannah, where the sun painted the sky with hues of orange and red, lay the kingdom of Zawadi. Within its borders, a young princess named Zahara lived, burdened by a curse from birth that made her an outcast in her own land. Zahara's life was shadowed by a chronic mouth odor that clung to her like a curse. From the moment she uttered her first words, the scent wafted around her like a dark cloud, driving friends and family away and casting her adrift in a sea of mockery and disdain. Despite her royal lineage as the rightful heir to the throne, Zahara found herself shunned by suitors and scorned by society. Even those who dared to court her did so with ulterior motives, seeking to exploit her vulnerability for their own gain. The first suitor, Prince Jamil from a neighboring kingdom, arrived at the palace with grand promises of love and devotion. But upon meeting Zahara and catching a whiff of her foul breath, he recoiled in disgust and swiftly made his excuses, disappearing from the kingdom before the sun had set. The second suitor, Prince Rafiki, was a wealthy merchant from across the desert. He arrived at the palace with gifts of gold and jewels, hoping to win Zahara's hand in marriage. But when he leaned in to kiss her cheek, the stench of her breath overwhelmed him, and he too fled from Zawadi, leaving behind his gifts as a bitter reminder of his rejection. One by one, the suitors came and went, their promises of love and devotion evaporating like morning dew in the heat of Zahara's curse. The people of Zawadi whispered in hushed tones about the cursed princess, warning their children to steer clear of her, lest they be tainted by her foul presence. Despite the rejection and ridicule, Zahara's heart remained pure. She treated everyone around her with kindness and respect, her compassion shining like a beacon in the darkness that surrounded her. But Zahara's life had not always been filled with loneliness and despair. In her youth, she had known the warmth of her parents' love and the security of their embrace. But tragedy struck Zawadi when her parents, King Rashid and Queen Yamina, were killed in a tragic hunting accident, leaving Zahara orphaned and alone. With the death of her parents, Zahara's uncle Maliki seized power, his heart consumed by jealousy and greed. He banished Zahara to the outskirts of the kingdom, forbidding her from setting foot within the palace walls. Despite her royal blood, Zahara was treated as a commoner, her every need ignored and her every plea dismissed. Desperate to rid herself of the curse that plagued her, Zahara sought out healers and wise women from far and wide. She traveled to distant lands in search of remedies and potions that promised relief. But each attempt ended in disappointment and despair. The healers she encountered cared more for her gold than her well-being, their false promises leaving her heart heavy with sorrow. Then, one fateful day, a stranger arrived in Zawadi, defying the kingdom's strict laws against outsiders. Despite the danger he faced, Zahara approached the stranger, her heart filled with compassion and empathy. She could not turn her back on a fellow human being in need, regardless of the consequences. The stranger, a weary traveler from a distant land, had stumbled into Zawadi, seeking refuge from the dangers of the desert. But before he could even set foot in the kingdom, he was set upon by the kingdom's guards, who were duty-bound to enforce the law against outsiders. With courage and determination, Zahara intervened, stepping between the stranger and his would-be assailants. She pleaded for mercy, arguing that no harm could come from showing kindness to a fellow traveler in need. But the guards, blinded by their loyalty to the kingdom's laws, refused to listen, their spears poised to strike. In a desperate bid to save the stranger's life, Zahara threw herself in front of him, shielding him from the deadly blow. Moved by Zahara's selfless act of bravery, the guards hesitated, their resolve faltering in the face of her unwavering courage. And in that moment of hesitation, the stranger seized his chance, slipping away into the darkness with a whispered word of thanks to the princess who had saved his life. The stranger revealed himself to be a god in disguise, sent to test the virtue of Zawadi's inhabitants, including the princess herself. Impressed by Zahara's unwavering courage and compassion, the god bestowed upon her an antidote that cured her of her affliction, leaving her breath sweet and fragrant for the first time in her life. And though the kingdom searched in vain for the stranger to reward him for his generosity, he had vanished as mysteriously as he had appeared, leaving behind only whispers of his divine presence and the fragrance of courage that lingered in the air. With her curse lifted, Zahara's journey was far from over. She returned to the palace, her heart filled with a newfound sense of purpose and determination. But as she stepped through the gates, she was met with the cold gaze of her uncle, Maliki, who eyed her with suspicion and resentment. Despite his hostility, Zahara remained undaunted. She knew that she had a duty to her people, and she would not let anything stand in the way of her destiny. With each passing day, she worked tirelessly to prove herself worthy of the throne, earning the respect and admiration of her subjects through her kindness and compassion. And then, one day, as the kingdom stood on the brink of disaster, Zahara's moment of destiny arrived. A deadly plague swept through Zawadi, leaving death and devastation in its wake. The people cried out for a savior, a leader who could guide them through the darkness and into the light. In their hour of need, Zahara stepped forward, her heart filled with courage and determination. Drawing upon the wisdom of her ancestors, she uncovered a long-forgotten prophecy that spoke of a cure for the plague, a cure that lay hidden in the sacred seeds of a rare plant. With the fate of her kingdom hanging in the balance, Zahara embarked on a perilous journey into the heart of the forbidden jungle, accompanied by a small band of loyal followers. For days they journeyed through the dense undergrowth, facing countless dangers along the way, but Zahara's determination never wavered. As they ventured deeper into the jungle, they encountered all manner of strange and wondrous creatures, from towering elephants to majestic lions. At night, the jungle came alive with the sound of chirping crickets and rustling leaves, their eerie symphony echoing through the darkness. But despite the beauty of their surroundings, danger lurked around every corner. They narrowly escaped the clutches of a hungry pride of lions, their roars shaking the ground beneath their feet. They traversed treacherous rivers teeming with crocodiles, their jaws snapping at the air as they passed by. And then, just as they were nearing their destination, they stumbled upon the most fearsome obstacle of all, a towering cliff that blocked their path, its sheer face rising high into the sky like a fortress wall. Undeterred, Zahara and her companions pressed on, their determination unwavering in the face of adversity. With ropes and climbing gear in hand, they scaled the cliff with skill and precision, their hearts pounding with excitement as they drew ever closer to their goal. As Zahara and her companions journeyed deeper into the jungle, the challenges they faced grew ever more daunting. The dense foliage closed in around them like a living barrier, obscuring their path and casting long shadows that seemed to dance in the flickering light. Each step forward was met with resistance from the wilderness itself, as if the jungle itself sought to thwart their quest. One particularly harrowing encounter came when they stumbled upon a hidden cave, its entrance obscured by hanging vines and tangled roots. With trepidation, they ventured inside, their torches casting long shadows on the cavern walls. But as they pressed deeper into the darkness, they were met with an unexpected sight. A nest of slumbering bats, their wings fluttering softly in the dim light. The sight of the creatures sent shivers down their spines, their eyes glinting with malice as they stirred from their sleep. With a collective gasp, Zahara and her companions retreated from the cave, their hearts pounding with fear as they fled into the safety of the jungle. But despite the dangers that lurked around every corner, Zahara remained undaunted in her determination to press forward. With each obstacle they encountered, she rallied her companions with words of encouragement, her unwavering courage serving as a beacon of hope in the darkness. As they journeyed deeper into the jungle, they encountered all manner of strange and wondrous sights. They stumbled upon a hidden waterfall, its cascading waters shimmering in the sunlight as it plunged into a crystal clear pool below. They marveled at the exotic flora and fauna that surrounded them, their senses alive with the sights and sounds of the wilderness. But amidst the beauty of their surroundings, danger still lurked, waiting to ensnare the unwary traveler. They narrowly escaped the clutches of a hungry pack of hyenas, their laughter echoing through the night as they stalked their prey. They traversed treacherous ravines and rocky cliffs, their hearts pounding with fear as they teetered on the edge of disaster. And then, just as they were nearing their destination, they encountered their greatest challenge yet. A vast swamp that stretched as far as the eye could see, its murky waters teeming with hidden perils. With sinking hearts, Zahara and her companions realized that they would have to traverse the swamp if they were to reach the sacred grove where the plant grew. Undeterred, they forged ahead, their resolve unshaken in the face of adversity. With each step forward, they sank deeper into the mire, their progress slow and arduous. But Zahara refused to be defeated, her determination driving her ever onward as they struggled through the swamp. As they pressed deeper into the murky waters, they encountered all manner of strange and terrifying creatures. They narrowly avoided the snapping jaws of crocodiles lurking beneath the surface, their cold eyes glinting in the dim light. They fought off swarms of biting insects that buzzed around them like a cloud of angry bees, their stingers leaving painful welts in their wake. But despite the dangers that surrounded them, Zahara and her companions pressed on, their hearts filled with a fierce determination to succeed. With each step forward, they drew closer to their goal, their spirits buoyed by the knowledge that their efforts would not be in vain. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the other side of the swamp, their bodies weary and exhausted from the ordeal. But as they emerged from the murky waters, a sense of triumph washed over them, their hearts filled with a newfound sense of hope and determination. With the most perilous leg of their journey behind them, Zahara and her companions continued on their quest, their spirits renewed by the knowledge that they were drawing ever closer to their goal. And as they ventured deeper into the jungle, they knew that they would face many more challenges before their journey was complete. But with Zahara's unwavering courage to guide them, they were ready to face whatever trials lay ahead. As they pressed on, the jungle seemed to come alive around them, its ancient secrets whispering through the trees. And as they drew closer to their destination, Zahara felt a sense of anticipation building in her chest, her heart pounding with excitement at the thought of what lay ahead. Finally, after days of arduous travel, they reached the hidden grove where the sacred plant grew, its vibrant leaves shimmering in the dappled sunlight. But as Zahara reached out to pluck the precious seeds from the plant's branches, a deafening roar echoed through the jungle, shaking the ground beneath their feet. Before them stood a fearsome creature, its massive form blocking their path with its razor-sharp claws and gleaming fangs. It was a creature of legend, a guardian of the jungle that had long protected the sacred plant from those who would seek to exploit its power for their own gain. But Zahara would not be deterred. With courage and determination, she faced the creature head-on, her heart filled with a fierce determination to succeed. With a mighty roar, she charged forward, her companions at her side, and together they fought with all their strength against the guardian of the jungle. After a fierce battle that raged long into the night, Zahara emerged victorious, her sword stained with the blood of their adversary. With trembling hands, she plucked the precious seeds from the plant's branches, their power pulsing with life and energy as she held them aloft for all to see. With the seeds of the sacred plant safely in her possession, Zahara and her companions made their way back to Zawadi, their hearts filled with hope and determination. And as they emerged from the depths of the jungle, the people of the kingdom greeted them with cheers and applause, their faces alight with joy and gratitude. With the cure in hand, Zahara wasted no time in administering it to her afflicted subjects, watching with bated breath as the plague-ridden bodies began to stir with new life. And as the last traces of the plague vanished from the kingdom, Zahara knew that she had fulfilled her destiny as a true queen of Zawadi. With the seeds of the sacred plant safely in her possession, Zahara had not only saved her people from certain death, but had also reclaimed her rightful place as the ruler of Zawadi. And as she sat upon the throne, her heart filled with gratitude for the love and loyalty of her subjects, Zahara knew that her legacy would endure for generations to come. The journey had been long and arduous, filled with trials and tribulations that had tested her strength and courage. But in the end, Zahara had emerged victorious, her determination and resilience shining like a beacon of hope in the darkness. And as she looked out upon her kingdom, her heart filled with a sense of pride and fulfillment, knowing that she had proven herself worthy of the title of queen. Overall, the story conveys the message that one's true worth is not defined by external circumstances or societal judgments, but by one's character, compassion, and resilience in the face of challenges. It highlights the transformative power of courage, kindness, and unwavering determination in overcoming adversity and fulfilling one's destiny.